Airports are strange places. On the surface, they're all about convenience and order. Bright lights, polished floors, smiling staff, and endless signs pointing you exactly where to go. But look closer, and the shine begins to fade. Behind the glass walls and duty-free shops lies an entire world of secrets that most travelers never see, and airlines would rather you never ask about. From subtle psychological tricks that guide your every step, to hidden policies and carefully orchestrated deceptions, the truth is that airports are designed for control, profit, and sometimes even surveillance. Let's pull back the curtain and step into that hidden world. Imagine yourself rushing through security, exhausted, a little stressed, and desperately hunting for a place to sit. You finally spot a row of seats, complete with charging ports, right in front of a security kiosk. Perfect, you think. A chance to breathe, charge your phone, and collect your thoughts. What you don't realize is that those chairs weren't placed there for comfort. They're part of a carefully mapped grid of surveillance. Cameras, microphones, and even the charging stations themselves are positioned to gather data. That free phone charge? It could mean plugging into a system that quietly reads your data, or at least tracks how long you stayed put. Airports are designed with psychology in mind, not just to move you, but to watch you. And speaking of movement, have you ever noticed how your pace changes when walking through an airport? One moment you're striding along on shiny tile, the next you're slowing down across a section of thick, soft carpet. That shift isn't just about interior design. It's a technique called cognitive friction. The change in flooring makes you instinctively slow down and relax. Why would airports want that? Because calmer passengers are easier to manage, easier to screen, and far less likely to cause disruptions. You thought the carpet was there for comfort. In truth, it's there to control the flow of your behavior. Then there's the matter of water. You've just cleared security, tossed your half-full bottle, and now you're parched. Luckily, a water fountain stands nearby. But before you lean in for that refreshing sip, consider this. Airport fountains are rarely sanitized with the same frequency you'd expect. In fact, studies have shown that some harbor more bacteria than the average public restroom. The buttons touched by hundreds of strangers, the spouts rarely scrubbed, the biofilm forming in the pipes, all of it adds up to an unpleasant cocktail. Buying overpriced bottled water stings your wallet, but in this case, it might save your immune system. And while you sip that water or munch on a quick snack, remember, you're never as anonymous as you think. Airport staff often know more about passengers than they let on. VIP travelers get flagged for special treatment, frequent flyers are tracked for their loyalty habits, and those who have ever caused a disruption may find themselves discreetly monitored the moment they walk in. The smiles at the check-in desk aren't just for service. They're part of a constant evaluation process. Every sigh, every complaint, every visible flash of anger can be quietly noted. You may think you've blended into the crowd, but for the staff, you've already been categorized. Meanwhile, your checked luggage isn't simply tossed on a conveyor belt and rolled onto the plane. Each bag takes a hidden journey through advanced explosive detection systems, X-ray scanners, and chemical sniffers that rival military tech. Machines peer not just into the shapes of your belongings, but the density, materials, and even chemical traces. Within seconds, the system decides whether your suitcase is ordinary or suspicious. To you, it's a bag full of socks and souvenirs. To them, it's a potential threat that must be cleared before it ever sees the cargo hold. But even if your bag makes it safely to the plane, that doesn't guarantee you will. Airlines have perfected the art of overbooking. They sell more tickets than there are seats, banking on the assumption that some passengers won't show up. When their gamble fails, you're the one left stranded at the gate, bumped despite having a confirmed seat. It's all legal, all calculated, and designed to squeeze maximum profit from every flight. That friendly gate agent who apologizes for the inconvenience is really smoothing over a system that's been stacked against you from the start. Sometimes the stakes get even higher. Death at 35,000 feet is rare, but it does happen. And when it does, you won't hear an announcement of panic. Instead, coded phrases like Jim Wilson or Operation Sunrise quietly ripple through the crew. These seemingly harmless words mask serious events, allowing staff to coordinate discreetly without alarming passengers. To you, it's just another calm flight. To them, it could be an emergency unfolding right in front of you, hidden behind layers of routine. And speaking of hidden costs, have you ever grabbed quick cash from an airport ATM? That convenience could be costing you more than you realize. Airports are notorious for sky-high withdrawal fees and brutal exchange rates. Sometimes as much as 10% of your money disappears in the process. And for international travelers using foreign cards, the losses are even worse. That just a little cash transaction might be one of the most expensive swipes of your trip. Better to plan ahead or resign yourself to paying for the privilege of convenience. If you think cash is the only thing being taken from you, consider what lurks on the very seat you're sitting in. Airplanes are deep cleaned far less often than most people realize. Between flights, crews perform quick surface wipes, but the real deep scrubs? Those can be weeks apart. The tray table in front of you, the one where you rest your snacks or even lean your head, has been found to carry more germs than a public restroom stall. Seat belts, armrests, window shades, all touched by hundreds and rarely disinfected thoroughly. Pack your own sanitizing wipes. It might be the difference between a smooth trip and an unwanted souvenir illness. Then there's food, or rather, the robbery that passes for food pricing. You know the drill. You're hungry, stuck in a terminal, and every kiosk seems to charge 5 times what you'd pay outside. Sandwiches at $14, bottled water at $6, candy bars at $5. Why? Because once you've passed security, you're trapped. No outside food vendors, no quick grocery stops. The monopoly means airports can charge whatever they like, and you'll pay because you have no choice. It's not convenience, it's economic captivity. And while you're paying premium prices, your lost luggage might be making someone else rich. Unclaimed bags don't sit in a back room forever. After a waiting period, they're auctioned off, often in bulk, to the highest bidder. Buyers walk away with mystery suitcases, not knowing what's inside. Sometimes it's valuable items, sometimes it's useless junk. For you, it's a loss. For someone else, it's a bizarre lottery. Your missing suitcase could very well be a stranger's surprise jackpot. As you wait for your flight, you might notice the frosted glass doors of an airport lounge, with well-dressed travelers relaxing inside. Many assume these spaces are exclusive to the wealthy or to elite frequent flyers. The truth? Many lounges offer day passes for reasonable fees, and some credit cards grant access automatically. While the masses struggle with hard chairs and overpriced coffee, a few steps away, others recline in quiet comfort with free drinks and food. The lounge isn't an unattainable luxury. It's a secret most travelers simply never ask about. Then comes the flight itself. When you land and hear the captain proudly announce, "We've arrived early," it feels like a win. But here's the trick. Many airlines deliberately pad their flight times. They schedule arrivals later than necessary so that even if the plane runs late, it still appears on time. This manipulation boosts on-time performance statistics and keeps complaints low. That early landing, in reality, it was carefully planned deception. Even in the cockpit, things aren't always what they seem. On long flights, it's common, even mandatory, for pilots to sleep. Rest breaks are taken in turns, sometimes in hidden compartments, sometimes in reclined seats. Autopilot manages much of the journey. It's a system designed for safety, but it's one airlines rarely advertise. Passengers imagine the pilot at the controls every second. The reality is that good pilots know when not to fly. And yet sometimes planes fly nearly empty, deliberately. Known as ghost flights, these runs happen to maintain airport slot rights. Regulations demand that airlines use their takeoff and landing slots or lose them to competitors. Rather than surrender valuable times, airlines occasionally send planes into the sky with only a handful of passengers. It's costly, wasteful, and absurd, but it protects long-term profits. Finally, after all the flights and frustrations, you land. You follow the herd to the nearest restroom, only to face the dirtiest, most overcrowded bathroom in the airport. Here's the overlooked secret. The cleanest restrooms are never the first ones you see. Walk just a little farther into the terminal, and you'll often find cleaner, quieter facilities. It's a small but powerful hack, a final reminder that in airports, appearances deceive, and the obvious choice is rarely the best one. But before we close, here's the bonus secret that ties everything together. Airports are designed not for travelers, but for profit. Every path you walk, every decision you make has been engineered. From the overpriced shops you're forced to pass after security, to the placement of rest areas, to the time your plane arrives early, the entire system is built to extract money while keeping you compliant. Airports are not neutral spaces. They are machines, efficient, calculated, and endlessly watching. So the next time you step into one, remember, you're not just a passenger, you're part of a carefully managed operation. The more you know these secrets, the less power they hold over you.